probably 3 minutes. Right now we're about to do a frontal sew-in. So right now we're going to start by tweezing the frontal to start customizing the hairline. So you're just going to kind of basically do this from side to side until the entire hairline starts to thin out. Once it starts to thin out, we're going to reapply it, but I'll do it off our head. I just wanted to show you how you basically customize into this person's hairline, because everybody's hairline is different. So we did our braiding pattern and start beginning with the net. On a braiding pattern, just make sure that your braids are to the back and flat. When you come in the back, make sure that they're crossed, but make sure that your foundation is still laying very, very flat. Then we want to come back with the net. You won't come all the way up with the net. The reason you won't come all the way up with the net is because you do not want your net showing through your frontal at all. So you're going to come ear to ear, sewing your net completely down. And that's the process that we're doing now. We're just sewing the net down for security and also to protect the braids. Now we're using the Got To Be glue substance. So this is what they call the glue is frontal. Right now we're just going to prep the hairline with it. I overlap a little bit so that everything can stay down tightly and firmly. You're going to overlap the hairline slightly. You're going to take your blow dryer. Make sure that your blow dryer is put on cool. We're going to continue to blow dry, but we just want this to kind of get tacky. Not completely dry, but it's going to start turning clear as it dries progressively. Next, we're going to take the frontal and place it to our client's hairline. Make sure when you cut in the front of your frontal, try not to do straight lines. We kind of zigzag in and out because nobody's hairline is completely straight. You can let this dry a little bit more. Make sure you're pressing it firmly with the end of your comb. Press firmly. Look to the side. Some people get their clients to participate by holding it. Most of the time I don't. Make sure that you don't have any tuckers. So make sure you pull firmly. Because once it's dry, that's it. And we'll have the client participate on this side and pull it as I begin to sew the other side. Because these frontals, sometimes they're a little bigger than your client's actual head. So I need you to hold this right here. Just pull it just like that. Now as you pull it to the front, just hold it down. You can come in with the blow dryer if you like, to make sure that this is held down before you start sewing. And then we'll come back after we sew, and then we'll create a custom hairline. What's going to happen, instead of me double working myself and put my client under the dryer, I'm going to just start sewing this as is. By the time I finish sewing the entire style, she'll be completely dry. So come in. So right now, we bleach the knots. The substance is still drying. So we'll start the sewing process. Like when you're watching it through the camera, make sure it looks as if it was a video you would want to be looking at. so that you can tell what I'm doing. Yeah, so keep it down, bro. Once you get it behind the ear, you're gonna always have some slack, because even though you're customizing the frontal itself is not designed to fit one particular head. So you're just gonna have to progress. So we're gonna come through here, basically making an anchor, and just doing your nice little loop. Don't have any spaces. You have any spaces, just come back over, make you a nice flat bridge going all the way across like a headband. And if you have any type of slack, just do a slight fold. When you do the fold, I guarantee you won't see it in here if you do the fold properly. Just like a little fold. Don't pull it too much. You don't want to jack it because you don't want to shift it from the hairline. The reason I'm looping and not doing a stitching pattern is because, like I explained with the net, looping gonna give it a little firmer hold, a firmer and flatter hold than doing a stitching pattern. It's less likely of having any gaps or spaces in between your stitching versus puckering. So now we're about to customize the hairline. And as the hairline is drying on its own, what would happen is I'm going to customize everything here. Get it all down. Make it look nice and natural. And again, even though it's not completely dry, you can kind of see the hold on it. It's just air drying. So once you put your client under the dryer, you'll have a stiffer hold. Sometimes I come in with the tweezers if the hair is too heavy. Stitching, we're going to start by overlapping the frontal just a little bit. The reason we're doing this so that some length can be added to the front. Be sure to sew underneath your braid. With any install, you want to make sure that you go underneath your bottom braid. I normally don't go underneath. I normally don't go through the wefts except on the end. But the reason I'm going through the wefts at the bottom is so that this braid is really tight. We started stitching. When we started with a looping pattern. The reason we started with a looping pattern so that I can make it more flexible. You go always stitch underneath the bottom braid. This is the reason for it. See how you cannot see the braid at all. No visible braid, no visible stitching, and a C pattern. The reason we're doing this is so that the longer bundles can shift towards the front. Always make sure that you double stitch before folding. Even though I'm not going through the wefts, my stitching is still held down real tight, real firm. While sewing in a C direction like the way that I did is because it's going to bring more hair to the front. Now I'm going to show you guys why I sewn in the C pattern like I did, because what it does is it kind of redirects the hair to make sure that you have more hair over the shoulder also. See how there's no separation in between? So if she wants to pull it back, it can still be pulled back smoothly with no humps or bumps in it. Nice and smooth. No disconnection. Come underneath. And again, like we said. We're going to come in with the next bundle, which is a 16-inch. So I'm not going to double that bundle because the client decided that she only wants to add 2 bundles. So we're just going to keep coming in the C pattern like this, and then I'll come back when it's time to close up in the top. Okay, So we continue to stitch in a C pattern. You're going to make sure that you go all the way up to your frontal with your stitching so that there's no separation, right? So now what we're doing is we're going to start in a straight pattern so we can start closing this off. So the most important thing that you want to remember is to keep this weft very flat. Sometimes you want to leave a little gap in between here, because the reason being, I normally take one track and like fold style. That's just the way I do it. Completely up by stitching one last track across here. We want to make sure that we're going through the weft. The reason being is so that it's completely tacked down. Now this will be the only time I'll cut the bundles at all. It's because I'm to the end and basically there's nowhere else to put it. So we'll do a chop. Okay, we're back. The entire install is completely done. We just basically want to show you some versatility, different styles you can use. Of course, you can part it any direction you like. I'll show you a little braiding method, and then after that we'll curl style and let our clients Feliz Navidad. So we're going to do the braiding method. Just use a little light hold. And because the frontal is so tacked down so good, you can pull with force without it shifting or moving. You can get a beautiful braid. You can pin it, kind of do whatever you want to do with it. Make different styles, curl it, wear it bone straight, however you like. We'll just use a clip for now. How pretty that is. Okay, so we just wanted to kind of show just a little versatility with the frontal. We just did 2 little braids. We're going to come back and curl it and complete the entire style. I'm going to open it up for you guys. And this is no tape added. I am actually using force while I'm pulling. It's not coming up. It's not moving. And tweeze a little bit more since our substance is completely dry that we use. While we're doing this, it just makes it look a little more natural. So as you can see, it's completely down because I am tweezing it. So while I was on the client's head. There we go. Okay, now we are finished completely with our frontal video. Miss Kiara has had her curls. She's been slayed, laid, but never betrayed. Switching my flows like my clothes. Keep on shooting that gun, no reload. Ooh, ooh. Now she want on my crew. Cause the money come all out the roof. Drive a Rari that got no roof. Wait, what kind Rari? 458. All of these they hate. Try to hot shoot through the gate.